Can I just stop and remind you of something? That if you're a believer and you're listening to this, if you're a Christian, if you love the Lord, if you are a Jesus follower, can I just remind you of this one thing? That God did not call us to a life of comfortability, but He called us to a life of transformation. And sometimes how God transforms us is through the pain. Sometimes how God transforms us is through the detours. Sometimes how God transforms us is through the delays in our lives. And so we pray for things and we're not getting it because He wants to prepare you for the next thing. He wants to prepare you for the blessing. And He does so by us stepping out of our comfort zone and trusting that He knows exactly where we are because He is a sovereign God. And so if you're struggling with things in your life, if you're struggling with timeline where God has you while you're not getting what you're praying for, always remember that Jesus did not die so we could be comfortable. He died so we could be transformed. And I guarantee you that if we didn't have to walk through delays and detours in our lives, we wouldn't need to be praying to Jesus. We wouldn't need to ask Jesus to empower us to get through hard seasons of our lives. And so that maybe you're walking into a season that's not comfortable. Maybe you're walking into a season, or you're in a season right now where it doesn't make sense, where you've been praying night after night, day after day, prayer after prayer, and it just seems like God is silent in heaven. It seems like Jesus is not answering your prayer. But sometimes what Jesus does in our lives is He'll not answer a prayer, or He'll not respond to a prayer request, because sometimes what we do is we believe that if Jesus answers our prayers, then we're going to believe more in Him. Then we're going to have more faith. Then we're going to have less doubt about who Jesus is and who the Father is. But I wanted to remind you that there are people in the Bible that walked with Jesus. They saw His miracles. They saw exactly what He did on earth, yet they did not believe in Him. In fact, the Bible goes on to say that the demons that Jesus casted out and threw into a bunch of pigs on the wayside into the rivers of water, those demons, they believed in Jesus. So just because we believe in Jesus, just because we believe in who He is, does not mean we will follow Him. And so the next time you pray, or the next time you get discouraged about God not answering a prayer, just be reminded that even if He answered the prayer, that doesn't mean you'll have more faith in following Him. We have to get to the point where we just follow Him simply for who He is.